Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So I'm here with my unboxing video for the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. So today is the 2nd of March. I got mine just a wee bit early. I did pay like an extra 15 bucks or whatever for the expedited shipping. But as you can see, it showed up safe and sound and all in one piece. So I'm not going to bore you too much with the details up front, but I got the gray model, not the black one. Of course, the colors, there weren't a whole lot of different options, which was kind of disappointing, seeing as this is a crazy, super expensive phone. You would think that they would have a couple extra options other than black and gray. But either way, let's go ahead and dive in and get the unboxing out of the way and talk about the phone and get to some first impressions. Now, before I get to that, I do want to say, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates on the latest and greatest. Now, without further ado, let's get to the unboxing. Alright, so here we are with the box that my delightful little Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra came in. This is how FedEx delivered it, and inside of this box we have the manufacturer box that has the phone in it. So let's go ahead and get underneath the tape and get it out of this FedEx box. Now, I've got some scissors laying around. Let me go ahead and open it with that. They're not the best scissors in the world. Honestly, they're kind of really sorry scissors, actually, but opening the box shouldn't be this difficult for about 99% of the population, but you can see that it's giving me a little bit of a headache. But either way, once you get the tape off the box, you can get to the actual phone itself. Now, the phone comes in a nice fancy S20 packaging case. You can see there, they made sure that you know that this is a 5G phone. So it says S20 Ultra 5G on the front. It's got a monstrous 6.9-inch screen, 1440 by 3200 pixels. Now, it does have Quad HD Plus resolution and also Full HD Plus. It has a 108 megapixel camera on it. And then you also have the 12 megapixel wide angle lens, and then you have the 48 megapixel telephoto with up to 10 times hybrid optical zoom, which is really, really cool. And if you saw the press announcement whenever they launched this thing, you could see what it was capable of doing. Now, once you get the box open, you got the documentation and the SIM ejector tool in the top of the box, which they've been doing lately, and then we have the big, beautiful Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra in all of its glory. So it's got the Snapdragon 865 processor in it. It's got this beautiful AMOLED display on it, and then you can see this time they moved the buttons back to the right side as opposed to how they were set up on the Note 10 Plus, where they were all on the left side. Now here's an up-close look at the cameras. You can see there it says space zoom, 100 times zoom, so all the fancy stuff, the bells and whistles, and the color looks nice. It's kind of plain, but it's plain in a good way, I think. I do wish that they did have some more color options, especially since it's such an expensive phone. But it's definitely heavy in the hand. It's not a light phone by any stretch of the imagination. It is 220 grams. It does feel kind of heavier than the Note 10 Plus, but there's that smooth left side again. We have the standard USB-C charging port on the bottom with the speaker. You can see, of course, there's no stylus S Pen place like the Note would have, and then simply the power button and the volume button. So pretty nice. And go ahead and fire this up and set it off to the side so we can take a look at what's in the rest of the box. Now, the documentation is in here. The little USB adapter does not come in this box. You had to select that as an option when you pre-ordered if you wanted one, and it didn't cost any extra money, but that's still in the box in the little package. But I did go ahead and ask for another one because it's free. I'm already paying for this really expensive phone, so why not? Now, here is the 25-watt super fast charger. You can get a 45-watt charger because that's what this phone will support, is the super ultra fast quick charge, 45 watts, but it costs a lot of money for that. I'm really not worried about the extra speed on that. I'll just stick with the 25-watt charger that came with it. You do have the USB-C to USB-C cable here for the charging. Now, one thing you'll find particularly irritating about this is when you try to do Smart Share, you need a USB-C cable that has a traditional USB Type A on one end So you can use the adapter. For whatever reason, they don't send you an adapter or one that's set up to work with the USB-C on both ends. So kind of a pain in the rear. And here we have the AKG tuned earphones that come with it. And it does have a USB-C connector to plug into the bottom because there is no headphone jack. And then you have the extra tips there so you can size it however you need for small, medium, or large for your individual fit and comfort. Alright, so moving out of the unboxing portion, I do want to do a side-by-side comparison with some other familiar Samsung phones that you can have a look at and see kind of like a size comparison here. So, enter stage right, we have the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and bookending it on the left, we have the Fold. Now, looking at all three of them and then opening up the Fold, you can see that it's kind of funny. The S20 Ultra and the Note 10 Plus, both of those screens combined are about the same size as the Fold is just by itself. Now, interesting, you can see here the S20 Ultra is just slightly taller and just a smidgen thicker than the Fold. So that's kind of one of those things that happens when you try and shove all sorts of hardware and technology into the one traditional slab versus having all the extra room that you get by having the extra display set up. But pretty cool seeing them all next to each other. Alright, so here we are with the S20 Ultra. This phone is a gigantic behemoth of a device. So I looked at one while I was at Best Buy whenever they first came out, and they had the display models out, and I didn't touch it too much. All the germs and everybody gets their filthy fingerprints and everything all of it. They look like somebody's grabbed a bunch of chocolate bars and then touched their fingers all over them. They're just so prone to getting fingerprints on them. But this is a gigantic device, and I have my Note. Here we go. So I've got my Note 10 Plus right here, and when you put them side by side, you saw in the footage that the S20 Ultra is actually bigger, and this camera array that it has on here is no joke at all. It is utterly huge. I mean, look at the cameras on here, and I know they got it separated out a little bit, but this is just ridiculous. It weighs a ton. I don't know what the actual weight on this thing is, other than probably if you look it up in the dictionary, it says it weighs a metric ton. This sucker, it's wider or thicker than the Fold, and it's larger than the Note 10 Plus. It's just ridiculous. What it reminds me of is actually an oversized, bloated S8 Plus. It really looks and feels like the S8 Plus, but like if somebody blew it up, like if it just magically got larger. But overall, I mean, I like it. Other than this giant slab on the back here with the cameras, I wish they could have found some way to make that flush with the rest of the surface. But I mean, I can see why they had to. And if you can look in there and see, I'll show you the up close footage where that 108 times zoom, or the 108 megapixel, 100 times zoom camera is in there. It's actually recessed back underneath there. Like you can look in there and see it looks like it's like halfway inside of the phone. I'm sure it's not really that big of a deal, but yeah. And then, of course, they moved the buttons back over to the right side. So now there's no buttons on the left side. It was really weird because I had to get used to that with the Note 10 Plus. It's like, hey, we got all the buttons on the left side, and now it's like, hey, we got all the buttons back on the right side. Gotcha. So yeah, I don't really know what they're doing with that. I'm glad they moved it all back over to the right-hand side. You can see here, looking at everything. Unlock it there. And it is running Android 10, so that's nice. Little bubble thing is cool with the screen. And then once you get into it and look at some of the settings, we'll go ahead and dive in here and look at the way the screen is set up. So this phone, one of the selling features is it's got the 120 hertz refresh rate. Nice, super fast scrolling, super smooth, all that stuff. Well, by default, this phone is set for 1080p. It's not set on the Quad HD resolution, and it has the enhanced refresh rate turned off. So the default settings on this are 60 hertz refresh rate and 1080p resolution. You actually have to go in the settings to turn on the 120 hertz, but don't go too far, because if you try and turn on the 120 hertz and then change the screen resolution to the Quad HD Plus or vice versa, it won't let you. Now, they're saying that they're going to fix that with an updated patch here in the near future, but that's something that's kind of questionable to me. But I have heard that using the 120 hertz display does suck like 2 hours off of the battery life. So, I mean, it is very battery intensive. It does eat up a lot of juice because it needs all that for the extra refresh rate, the performance, all that stuff. But overall, I mean, it's a magnificent looking device. It looks sharp, it's shiny. I can't call it sleek. I mean, this thing looks like it's obviously been to the phone gym. It's bulked itself up since the last iteration. But yeah, it really looks like a Galaxy S8 or S8 Plus that they just made really large and added this big camera slab on the back and made it, like twice as thick. But seems pretty cool so far. I'm going to test it out, see how things go with it. But overall, so far, I mean, yeah, it's just pretty much everything's at face value. But I just wanted to give everybody an opportunity to take a look at it, see what's going on with the S20 Ultra. So that's all I've got in this video. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button and the subscribe and all that stuff. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. I'll answer any questions that you have about this new device. Thanks for stopping by. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. And as always, I'll see you next time.